Welcome back, guys. It's been a minute.
Welcome. Ichuta.
Hey, fuck you too, buddy. Fuck you too,
No,
buddy.
we found out in this episode Ichuta just means hey.
Okay, I went back. Like, I heard him say it because I was looking down typing something, and then I went back, but I didn't rewind far enough, and I was like,
If the subtitles are to be believed, and why wouldn't they? He says Ichuta Mando, and the subtitles say hey Mando.
That's just the Disney Plus PG version.
It actually said fuck yourself, Mando.
Sorry for the squeaking, folks. My daughter's dog.
That's just my voice.
My
Sorry
daughter's
about the
dog.
squeaking.
My daughter's dog discovered the
Puberty.
loudest toy in the world. And even though it scared him at first, now it's his favorite thing. So
It's much like sex.
but we're here to talk about The Mandalorian, Chapter 1, The Mandalorian.
I mean, finally. Fucking finally. Because I think it was like this, maybe season 3 of this. There was a show that was out that we were talking about, which is one of the reasons, and besides the fact that I talk about Star Wars a lot, that your wife was just like, get another fucking podcast.
Yeah. It might have been season 3. It might have just been because we couldn't stop talking about Star Wars.
It could be that. But I mean, this came out right when we needed it to, when Star Wars looked like it was it didn't look like it was at its low point. Star Wars was at its low point. You you put out a trilogy of movies that made the prequels look well thought out.
Hey, one of those movies was written.
Yeah, they were all written just
No,
as
no,
a
no.
fucking committee.
One was a photocopy of A New Hope.
Sure.
They just Xeroxed it and changed some names.
Yeah.
The other one was written by somebody. The last
And then
one was
written
just
by
produced. Yeah, the last one was produced by AI and Reddit.
They had to take all those people typing on Reddit. Those are writers.
I don't think they count.
I mean, I still even separately, I have my problems with Last Jedi, but I think I would have a different opinion of it if it would have followed through.
If they would have like thought about it the way that, like, we always joke about George Lucas claiming that he wrote all this stuff ahead of time and everything, but what you can say about the original trilogy is, sure, he had some ideas, but then when they were putting the scripts together, they followed through with the ideas that he had. Yeah. Versus that, where it was like, well, people didn't like this, so let's change everything. And the second one, oh, people didn't like that, so let's change everything back, but also change it again.
Right. I mean, Disney just has too many cooks trying to make too many people happy.
Yeah. I mean, so I remember when this show was announced and it was coming out, I was like, okay, cool. It's like the closest thing we're going to get to a Boba Fett show. That's fine. I get it.
Ooh, you know what I thought? This is the closest we're going to get to George Lucas' Underworld, which was a TV show he was going to do for ABC. I want to say after he did the prequels, and the cost ended up being way too much because the volume didn't exist. So we're talking about having to build these sets and stuff and CG them. And ABC was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah. And I mean, this wasn't cheap. I read the series, the season cost like $100 million. So it comes out to like 15 million per episode, which is like a half-hour episode, which is crazy.
Wait, but what was the total budget? Sorry, for the whole thing?
100 million.
100 million for essentially the length of a couple Star Wars films. So by that standard, it's inexpensive. It's cheaper, but by streaming,
also with them doing multiple seasons, some of that cost was balanced out because a lot of that cost was creating costumes, creating sets, etc.
Sure.
And then so when you go into the second season, you've already got costumes and sets. I'm sure you have to make some more, but you have a lot of that stuff.
You had to hand make the Mando costume. Now you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a Boba Fett design for the most part, but there's nuances, people.
Yeah. So this one is the directorial, or at least film directorial debut of Dave Filoni. I'm sure he directed some of them cartoons.
He had to have.
Written by Jon Favreau, of course. And the person I'm going to mention who does, I think, the most work here, the composer, Ludwig Göransson.
Oh boy, he does some work.
Because I mean, if you watch the thing that's on Disney Plus, that's like the behind the scenes, it just seems like a stoned ass fucking dude, like who was like I just got back from this hike. I'm coming down from mushrooms. Sure, I'll sit in a room and blow in this little horn and like strum some instruments and see what happens.
I do this all the time. I'm just not musically talented. I go on hikes on mushrooms and go blow into horns. Problem is, they're usually attached to people. Hey,
Ricola. So, like, this guy's done a ton of great music. I just want to mention real quick because
we know he did Sinners.
He did Sinners. He did Oppenheimer and Tenet. He did the first and second Black Panther. So varying quality of movies, but great music.
Oh, I don't think I realized he did both Black Panthers and Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler.
Did he do Black Panther 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's worked with Ryan Coogler a lot because he did Creed, both Black Panthers, Sinners.
You find your guy. You know what I mean? Like when you have a vision and somebody captures it in a very collective form, you keep your guys.
He's like, dude, you want to come over and get stoned and make some music? I'm doing this movie about twins who fight vampires.
Go on. I'm so in.
That's all I got. I'm really high right now.
All right, hold on. And just fucking lays down a massive beat. Yeah, we've talked before on previous episodes of this podcast how if you don't have John Williams, it usually suffers. Andor is a big exception. This was an exception first, but like Solo, you're doing different stuff, and it's obvious it's not Johnny Dubs. This is obvious, but it's also just really well received.
Well, this isn't a guy trying to be John Williams. That's the big difference. Is like Solo and some of those other ones are people trying to imitate John Williams because they're doing that type of Star Wars movie. And he even says in the behind the scenes interview stuff that he's like, this isn't that. This is a different thing. This is more Western, even though Star Wars has always been Western inspired.
This leans into it a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, our opening scene is the fucking swinging saloon doors, but Star Wars style, right? I mean,
yeah, he should have shot the lock open. I mean, he shoots it closed. So he did I got what I wanted.
But yeah, we'll get into this. So
yeah, please.
Mando going into this Western saloon entrance, this Western saloon. I don't know what planet they're on. They don't say, and they don't have title cards in this. I know I've picked up a couple of the planets, but
I don't think you're supposed to know here. This is just an Outer Rim planet, and I say Outer Rim because they're speaking Huttese. Yeah. If they were in the core or somewhere specific, it would definitely be basic. And it's not Tatooine, obviously. There's snow.
I love these guys just beating the shit out of this blue guy Mithril, who's played by Horatio Sands, by the way.
Absolutely.
SNL alum, bunch of other stuff. And I recognized the bartender, too. So I looked him up. It's the guy John
he's
Beasley.
in Mighty Ducks.
Is he? Okay.
He's the dad of Jesse. The two black brothers that keep calling the rich kid Cake Eater.
Okay, because I looked him up.
What an insult, dude. You fucking cake eater.
I looked him up, but I just scrolled real quick, and I was like, okay, so he's just in a bunch of shit. He's a character actor.
Yeah, I couldn't pull one other thing he's from besides Mighty Ducks.
But as soon as Mando walks in, Mando, played by Pedro Pascal, of course.
And I think, I'm going to derail real quick. Later seasons, Pedro Pascal's not on set. He is only doing voiceover work. By season 3, for sure, he's not even in the suit.
You don't think?
No, I know. I know really? For a fact, yeah.
That's lame.
So I think at least season 1, there's 2 people that play Mando. He's every part that's not like a big stunt action. And then there's the guy that does that. And then I'm pretty sure by season 2, they were kind of phasing him out because they realized like this guy's got your body language down. Maybe they paid him less. Maybe he was like, I'll take less if I can work from home.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just him like, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold.
Yeah, I mean,
it's great.
I guess you're normally paid like a flat rate or a daily rate. But if it's a daily rate, they're like, okay, cool, do this from home. And he does it all in a day.
Yeah. And he might even have negotiation power. Like, you kind of need my voice.
Yeah. And they're like, no, we don't. Let's introduce you to James Earl Jones.
Now, he already signed that away now. There's contracts. Disney's still going to get your voice, but someone in your family is going to get paid for it at least.
But he comes in and there's these guys who are just credited as trawlers, which I guess is just like tough guys, goons.
I don't know this planet. Maybe they're trawlers on the planet, like fishermen.
But they're beating up on Mithril. He comes.
Want to drink him or eat him.
They want to sell his glands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, we talked about on something else, dude. Just imagine people like, human ball sacks are a delicacy in this fucking area of the galaxy. It's like, only the females have balls.
They kill a whole bunch before they figure it out. And they're like, why aren't these purses shrinking when it gets cold?
Have you tried sauteing it in butter?
But yeah, this guy immediately starts shit with the Mandalorian as he walks in. He's like, "Yo, you spilled my fucking drink, guy."
Not a word.
The bartender's trying to
word.
diffuse the whole thing. He's like, "Hey, no worries, I'll get you another drink, dude."
Well, first he translates. He's like, "Hey, he said this. He says something," and it's like Mando can understand you. He's just not going to fucking talk to you. I got a feeling this guy speaks Huttese because he speaks a little Jawa. Much later, we see him speak Tuscan. I mean, I would be shocked if he doesn't know how to speak Huttese.
Do we get his name in this season, or is that not until next season?
It's this season.
Okay. Because, like, at this point, at least, then, for the beginning part, he's kind of that Clint Eastwood man with no name thing. So he's doing that tough guy in the saloon, people trying to start shit. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't have a name. I'm just here to do my business and move on. I don't give a shit about you. But if you want to start something, I'll finish it.
If you start some, there will be some. But if you don't start none, won't be none.
And so there's this fight with these guys. My favorite one is the dude who runs out the door.
Oh, the Corrin?
Corrin, there you go. I was like, I know it's a Q.
Yeah.
Who runs out the door and he like lassos him, pulls him halfway, and then like shoots this door closed and just chops this dude in half.
It's kind of brutal. Like it doesn't show it, so it can remain this whatever the PG streaming thing is.
Yeah.
TV 13 maybe or younger. I don't know the ratings.
To keep it so if you go on your Disney Plus and turn off MA, it will still show up.
Right. Because it shows it just about to happen. And it's like, use your imagination from here, dude. Please. Here, we'll give you a squelching noise.
And then Horatio Sands is like, "Oh man, thank you so much. Here, have my drink, have some money, whatever." And then he just sets down this bounty puck, and he's like, "Is that me? I don't think that's supposed to be me."
It looks like me. I can see why you think it's me. It's actually my really handsome brother. He has a tiny penis, and I have a huge. Actually, flip that. I'll show you my tiny penis if it gets me off the hook. My brother has the big dick. Look at this. I'm in the cold right now.
Has there been any literature about how these fobs work?
I thought about that when watching. I was like, Derek's going to ask me about these fucking fobs. And I thought about a quick Google, but I don't think that's fair because I haven't done the work on it. I don't think there's been literature. I mean, I thought about it myself. You have to either have like a DNA kind of thing or a chain code program, or they have a tracker on them somehow.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They say later on they don't have the chain code for the new bounty.
No, he said we can give you the last 4 digits. He didn't say they didn't have it.
Oh, okay, because Greef Karga says there's no chain code. And then,
he says there's no bounty puck.
He also says no chain code until he goes to Werner Herzog. Then Werner Herzog's like, I have the last 4 digits.
I 100% believe they have it. I think they have the whole chain code.
Okay, they just don't want you to know the secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we never actually find out. We never find out exactly who hired this other group.
Okay.
And I started thinking about it today. I think it might be Imperial versus Imperial.
Yeah, I mean the beginnings or middle stages of all the people fighting each other.
The Shadow Council.
The Shadow Council.
Yeah. And you would be. I mean, we're always going to not reminisce. We're always going to make comparisons to the Nazis and Hitler. Hitler's either dead or dying.
The Nazi.
Yeah, I said reminisce. I'm like, that's just the wrongest word you could do. But this would be all of his little fucking minions, biting for power. Taking whatever little chunk they can. That's exactly what did happen, and it would be happening here. So I think because I know we're skipping ahead and we're kind of all over the story, but when Werner. Yeah, I hope you fucking watched it. Werner Herzog is like, alive is preferable or confirmation of death. And the Dr. Pershing's like, whoa, no. That's not what we agreed on. IG 11 had a specific kill order.
Yeah, which kind of suggests that there's 2 different groups looking for.
And then who hired these guys to get them in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some behind the scene stuff going on that we don't really get confirmation of,
I was going to say, these are things we don't have an answer to.
and we don't
Unless
need
there's
it.
a novelization I don't fucking know about.
I'm sure there is, or at least a comic book.
Ooh.
But I love his line. You said it earlier, like, because Horatio Sands is begging, and he's like, "Look, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold."
Bring you in cold.
Because he knows
You know
he's
what
a
it
fucking
is?
coward. So
It's RoboCop. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Like, it's just a variation of that. Like, I'm gonna get you.
and we do get an introduction early on to his Mando's avoidance or whatever of droids, because the speeder comes up to give him a ride, and he's like, "Nah, no droids." So then Brian Posehn pulls up in this fucking
Brian Posehn.
1981 Honda Civic with black smoke coming out the back.
This is going to be the weirdest Uber of your life. No way Brian Posehn's going to take you on a normal fucking trip.
Well, and they have a history of doing this throughout the show. Like, obviously not at this point, this is the first episode, but hiring these comedians to play these non-funny roles typically.
Yeah.
Just
well,
and Brian Posehn's a huge fucking nerd. So if they were like, "Hey, you want to be in Star Wars?" He's like, "Fuck yeah!"
I feel like he was begging. He's like, "Put me in your show," and
I'm
just
sure
begging
Jon
for
Favreau
it.
knows him, or
Sure, they've worked together on something.
yeah. But yeah, he gives them a ride, and he's like, "Hey, stay off the ice," and just zips the fuck out of there. And I felt like this was kind of a holiday special reference, if I remember right. Doesn't Mando end up shooting some big sea creature that attacks him in the holiday special?
Yeah,
or is
with
it a
the
spear?
rifle.
Maybe it's the same rifle. I can't remember.
I think it's this rifle. I remember George Lucas being on set for Mandalorian, like watching the filming of.
Did I say Mando? Boba Fett. I might have said.
Oh yeah, you might have. You might have. Run it back, and we don't care. But it was George Lucas on set for filming probably this episode, but definitely this season. And they bring him the disruptor rifle, and they're like, "Aren't you happy or surprised to see like your design in Star Wars?" He's like, "Actually, I didn't design that," and he gave credit to whoever designed it, and he talks about it being from the holiday special.
Nice. I mean, at least he's not like Stan Lee.
Exactly. I think besides his own wife, George Lucas gave credit where it was due. His wife,
she's a bitch, dude. So,
fuck her and the horse she rode in on, the tauntaun she rode in on.
But yeah, they get attacked by this space walrus, and he has to shoot it to get out of there.
It's not a space walrus; it's a space alligator eel walrus. Duh.
It's got tusks.
Yeah,
not Tuskens.
It's a saber-toothed moray eel.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it is, dude. It really is. But this is cool because it's the beginning of seeing the multifunction of his rifle.
Yeah. Because he zaps this thing off. They take off. This Mithril guy just won't shut the fuck up, which is, it's Horatio Sands doing Horatio Sands.
Why you hire him?
Yeah. He's like, "Hey, is it true you don't take off your helmets? Like your ship, Razor Crest? How long you been out here? You ever been to the Applebee's over on Tatooine? It's great." Like, just trying to get anything out of this guy.
What do you drink when you get there? Presidente Margarita? Do you get it with lime? Do you get it with salt? I'm asking what kind of tequila. Silver, anejo, reposado. I like it. It's good. You get to shake it and you take the shaker home. How many shakers do you have? I have 13 shakers at home.
Oh, speaking of Applebee's, I got to go take a shit. Do you have a bathroom on this thing? Or?
Do you like Crapplebee's? I got a couple of crapatizers when I was there.
So he does go to take a shit, and
excuse me, he goes to relieve himself.
Look, he says his thorax. That's taking a shit.
He also says he's molting.
He also says he hasn't taken his shit since the solstice. And I'm like, whew.
That's his species. I've talked about this before. If we could just shit once a year, that'd be amazing. You save it up. You have one day where for 24 hours, you just poop. That's
I can't work this Thursday. It's my shit day.
Oh, everybody gets that off. Like everyone just gets your day. Everybody gets their shit day off.
When you sign up for your job, they're like, okay, and then on your paperwork, you're filling out your social security number and your birth date and then your shit date. So they just know.
We're actually closed today because we hired 7 people to have the same shit day. And well, that's not good. We can't run a business like this.
Hey guys, I don't want to sound needy here.
I'm needy.
But we have a Patreon at patreon.com/worstpeople.
Mm-hmm.
And I know times are hard right now.
Real hard for me.
Inflation's up. You can't afford your groceries.
Can't eat.
We're not begging.
I'm begging.
We're not pleading.
I'm pleading.
We're not down on our knees.
Oh boy,
I mean,
my knees hurt. They've been on it on so long.
But we do kind of need the money.
I need the money bad.
we need new equipment.
New equipment. We need to do remote podcasts for all of you.
I wouldn't mind eating.
We need to have video.
I wouldn't mind eating.
We need more drinks.
Food sounds good.
So please check out patreon.com/worstpeople.
Please check us out.
You get a bonus episode every month, and we're going to have more content coming for you.
I'll send you pictures.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Please give me more.
Patreon.com/worstpeople.
I'm being held hostage here. If I don't pay my way out of here, they're going to kill me.
Have
we got a podcast for you.
Bad movies, worst people.
I mean, look, you like getting a couple beers in you, watching a bad movie, and yucking it up with your friends. That's what we're doing. We have microphones.
We have great impersonations. We have bad impersonations.
I think it might be one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
It's the best podcast I've ever heard, fellas. And I ain't lying through my giant teeth. There's a sample.
Yes.
You can find us anywhere. Badmoviesworstpeople.com. Come check us out.
If you don't follow us, we will follow you home.
So we see our first toilet in Star Wars.
Refresher.
Sorry, vac tube. What does he call it? Vac chamber?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I imagine, much like Dave Matthews' tour bus, they're just dumping this wherever they go. Dave Matthews got
dump it in space.
His band got fined for dumping pee and poo on people on accident. So
I'm sure it's like the airplane toilet where you push it and it sucks down real hard, but then as soon as that thing closes, it just shoots the shit out the back of the ship because you're in space. Who cares?
and that's how you get Joe Dirt getting that fucking space peanut.
And it made me laugh because I just recently watched, not for the first time, but Psycho, the original.
Okay.
And there's a point in there where she's ripping up paper and like throwing it in the toilet and flushing it. That was the first time a toilet had ever been seen or used in a movie.
Shut up.
Because I always think about like all the people who were watching that movie on opening night, and they're like, well, yeah, I mean, she got stabbed and it was crazy. There was some side boob, but did you see the toilet?
It probably wasn't a happy thing. It was people like, can you believe they showed a toilet?
There was
William, get my purse. We're leaving. That's a toilet.
There was a British critic who quit his job after watching that movie. And I like to imagine that he was just like, we've put toilets in movies now. I don't think I'm involved in this anymore.
Cinema has gone too far. What's next? Boobs? Ooh, what? Well, I mean, besides like a porno, what you probably don't know this off the top of your head. Like, what's the first year we had a boob in a movie?
I don't know. There is side boob in Psycho, but
all right, I guess I should say, when's the first time we had NERPs?
Yeah, I have no idea. It feels like something I should know if you look at this shelf behind me.
I mean, Werner Herzog is staring you the fuck down. That's terrifying.
Yeah. He's looking for the baby, but I don't have any.
You are my baby.
Yeah, so I don't know what Horatio Sands' plan is here. He's sneaking around the ship.
I think he's looking for a weapon.
Or an escape pod. Some way to escape. Some way to get out of custody. But he gets carbonated instead. He gets Han Solo'd.
Dude, when he finds those carbonite slats of people, so cool.
It's like you found a serial killer's basement.
Yeah. You found his jar of toenails. And you're like, oh shit, he wants to put my toenails in there. You're not gonna gotch me.
And then we get to, I believe this is he gets gotched. This is Mos Espa, right? That's where Karga hangs out.
Navarro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're Dave Navarro.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
And it's always Navarro because his whole story is, and rest in pictures, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, not too long ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To Carl Weathers.
You continue. I'll find out.
Okay. But like his whole story is he starts as this fucking bounty hunter guild management, which is not a great, like bounty hunters guild is fine because at least you're in a guild, but they're still kind of one level above scum.
Yeah.
And then he goes from that to magistrate to like savior of the city. So he's always been Navarro and he's just having his glow up.
Okay, and it was February of 2024.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so pretty recently.
Yeah. I instantly went out and bought the Greef Karga action figure
Yeah,
the day he passed because
you
I'm
knew
like,
they
it's
were
going to
gonna
go
get.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going
All
to
these
go up.
assholes.
So I picked it up for like a little 7 and change and I took all my toys down from my front little area except for that one.
um, my autocorrect changed it to Green Karga.
Oh, okay, do you have your green Karga? Otherwise, you're going to get fucking deported, man. You're going to have some snow troopers coming to your house. Sorry.
Oh, it's not funny.
It
is, but it's.
I have to laugh because otherwise I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
It's terrible watching people just fucking not due process the fuck out of this country. I can't believe to say this. Joe Rogan, I'm gonna agree with. Like 10 years ago, he was watching this happen, and he's like, "If you can watch this and be okay, you don't have a soul." It's like, "Oh, Joe, let me agree with you."
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna believe. I did it, and I still don't believe it. I saw a video of Tucker Carlson giving Ted Cruz the biz, and I agreed with him, and I was like, I don't like that.
We are living in some weird times where Tucker Carlson all of a sudden is a fucking voice that I care about. Good God. You happy, universe?
But Carl Weathers,
Tucker Weathers.
from a bunch of shit. I mean, obviously he's Predator, Action Jackson.
He's not a Predator.
No. He's in Predator.
I mean, I can't believe he started there instead of Apollo Creed.
Yeah, Predator is my introduction.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Predator more than I like Rocky. He was fucking killing it in Rocky.
I didn't see Rocky until I was in my 20s.
Bummer.
Yeah, my parents didn't watch it. I don't know.
Yeah,
my mom was too busy. She had her 80s action guy, and that was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Tight buns because I'm showing them and splitting them.
Exactly. She liked his split buns.
Who doesn't?
But I like how he's like trying to pay him in Imperial credits. Like, here's some Confederate dollars. That still spends.
He still spends. He's like, dude, they're gone. Get the fuck out of here. Get your Jefferson Davis out of here.
I love that they decided to name the calamari money flan. I'm like, you just doubled down on the food?
That's what I thought too. I was like, it's got to be Filoni and Favreau, like, call it flan. The calamari money is called flan. And you know what they bleed? Marinara.
So you've got your appetizer, you've got your dessert.
I got to recommend Dave Filoni, but he kind of sounds like this. Have you ever heard him talk? He's just kind of a little bit like this. I'm gonna work on it more.
I have, but not enough to do that.
All right. Well, I'm recording this so I can work on it for later. Give me a weird, stupid hat.
He's looking for more jobs. There's a bunch of them, but they don't pay much.
Also, calm down, dude. Everybody here wants jobs. Like that, it's just a bunch of people pointing at Mando. He took our jobs. This is why I've always said we should deport Mandalorians, man.
Send them back to Mandalore. Oh, we can't.
Oh shit! Are the fucking Mandalorians are kind of in this point like the nomadic gypsies. Like, yeah, they don't even have their own home. They just fucking bounce around the galaxy, and a lot of people think that they're intruding.
Yeah, because they don't have a home. That shit was iced,
glassed.
Although we'll visit that later. It was like season 3. So sometime later this year, probably, I think.
If we all live. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
But like, their economy is not great because the bounty, the highest bounty he has is 5,000 credits or 5,000 cups of flan or whatever. And he's like, that's not even enough for gas, dude. And he's like, okay, well, I got another job, but no chain code, face to face, super secret shit. You're gonna have to go meet with this guy.
He's going to want to check your butthole. I've met him before. I'm just going to warn you. He's got this really weird German accent. Okay, I want you to bend over and touch your toes because I'm going to show you where the wild tauntaun goes. Terrifying.
I just had a extra note / like costuming note. As Mando is going through these back alleys to go find Werner Herzog, there's like, the town is not in good state, right?
Right.
There's this like homeless guy sitting there with a cup out. And it just looks like a homeless guy with a VR headset on.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, well, I guess it's the future. He's like, I'm homeless. It doesn't mean I can't have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. I have this. I have an Oculus. Yeah, it reminds me of, like, again, old Westerns. This is that either rundown town or like just aspiring fortress, like in New Mexico kind of thing, like where it's borders on lawless. It's mostly lawless.
Yeah, and there's this guy's like an old gold prospector who couldn't find anything, or his claim was taken by another man or something.
He fought in the Clone Wars, but there's no use for a soldier. Was it Obi-Wan that we saw a clone begging? We did.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
Tamora Morrison just begging for money.
Fuck, I'll give him all of mine, dude. He can move in. I only have one pillow and one blanket. I am willing to share.
Dude, his head will take up that whole pillow.
His head's going to take up my entire chest. Or vice versa. Tams, get back to me. You let me know. Big spoon, little spoon. I don't care.
But he goes into this place.
I'm going to ride him like a benta.
It's all very shady going in here because you've got the little eyeball droid thing from Jabba's palace. And then their doorman is one of these gonk droids. Like they're like,
I love a gonk droid.
You're a battery, but also like if someone comes in this door, lead them to the other door. Yeah. That's your job.
You have two jobs. Recharge my cell phone, lead this guy over here. You're kind of like a Roomba with a purpose. I'm always going to be happy when I hear a gonk droid, dude. Gong, gong.
And then we meet the client played by Werner Herzog, who was right behind me in the video.
Oh, also, no, look, he's standing right behind you.
Also, the inspiration for my name on my video here, because he directed Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans with Nick Cage, which is a fucking batshit crazy movie.
I am so glad he explained that because I'm looking at it. I'm like, is this a Star Wars reference that I don't get? And I'm not going to ask him.
I was going to make some pun about a DeLorean, and then I was like, Jack's going to do that. And then if you didn't, I would have been so upset.
No, I got one. I think we're okay. I don't know what we're going to do next week.
But yeah, Werner Herzog is a storied director. He's an actor. He's a fucking amazing, crazy, insane human being.
And he doesn't even have, like, he's not even trying to be terrifying right here. He's playing this just very straight, but because of his gravitas and just, I mean, gravitas isn't even the right word. He is just instantly nefarious.
And I don't know if Star Wars falls into
Haunting.
This as well, but he has an interview that I think everybody should check out on Conan O'Brien's podcast. What's it called? Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Yeah.
He's got a great interview on there. It's very funny because Conan keeps trying to make jokes and Werner Herzog is just like, I am not laughing right now. Like but it's like he's talking about like, oh, all these guest appearances he's made on other shows and stuff. And he did a character on The Simpsons. I think he just played himself. And
he is a character on The Simpsons.
He got the offer and then they literally had to explain to him what The Simpsons was because he had never heard of it or seen it. Like,
I mean, it's not surprising he doesn't like own a TV, but the fact that he's never even heard of The Simpsons, come on.
I mean, this is a dude who, in that same interview, he talks about how like a teacher that he had at one point was like she had cancer and was sick, and it was when he lives in Europe somewhere, and so he's like, I wanted to go see her, so I walked for 2 months to her house to find her, and I'm like, what?
What a statement!
This dude is insane, and he is awesome.
Yeah, he's insane, and we love him for it.
And I mean, apparently Carl Weathers was a big fan of Werner Herzog as well. And like on set, he kept calling him Maestro. And then like when they were behind the scenes and stuff, he would just constantly talk to him about his movies and like working with Klaus Kinski and all this stuff. Like Carl Weathers was all about Werner Herzog.
Carl Weathers started transitioning to behind the camera. I think that's a maneuver as you age, especially, and you want to stay creative, and maybe you don't want to fucking be as ripped as you always have been. You want to eat some cheeseburgers, Brendan Fraser style. So Carl Weathers is like, hey, this is an opportunity to learn from one of the best. I'm gonna fucking sponge all that information. It sucks. He got taken a little too early. It sucks because I think he had a lot more work to do, and maybe not acting.
Yeah, I mean he's great and everything. I mean, I definitely, my introduction was Predator, but I didn't know who he was then. And then when I saw Action Jackson, I was like, it's that guy from Predator. But when I knew who he was Arrested Development.
Because he's so fucking self-aware.
He is so fucking great in that.
How many actors are just going to make fun of themselves? Like he plays himself making like just being a poor, broke, never made it actor. And it's great. Or washed up.
You take this rib bone, put it in some water, baby. You got yourself a stew.
Is there a room on that tab for one more? Do you like Cam? No, I adore it. Yeah, he's tremendous on that.
And then we meet Dr. Pershing, played by Omid Abtahi. I hope I'm saying
better.
that right.
I hope you are too. It sounds better than what I could do. I believe that he's in American Gods. He's the one that has sex with the djinn. I think that's my introduction to him, at least.
Oh, okay. His most known thing is in the Hunger Games part something, Mockingjay, whichever that is. I don't fuck it. I've seen the first one and I gave up.
I watched them all because I was dating a chick that liked them.
The first one was so bad I just moved on. It doesn't make any sense if you haven't read the book. He's on The Boys. He did some voice work in video games and stuff, but yeah, he might be American Gods. I'm not going to sit here and go through everything. I forgot to look him up. I apologize, but he's good in this.
Yeah, he is.
He's got a really good arc later on too. I think that's season 2, right?
2 or 3.
I can't remember.
He has, so something we'll talk about later. He has the Camino cloning emblem on his arm.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. And we didn't mention that when Mando walks into the room, there's these like rundown Imperial stormtroopers, like
dirty,
just covered in dirt, all smashed up armor and shit. I'm like, wow, you guys actually made it through something. Surprise. I didn't know stormtroopers ever lived through a battle, but
well, they hid. They saw Ewoks coming. They were like, whoa, no.
Yeah, this is still the dirt from fucking Endor.
Yeah, they're enduring. So I love when Pershing walks in because it makes Mando flinch and he fucking pulls pistol here, fucking rifle here, and he's like, Werner Herzog does so great. He's like, please forgive him and his lack of decorum. His excitement does not know any bounds. And of course, Mando's like, tell them to lower their fucking guns. We got you 4-1. I'll take those odds.
Yeah.
Ice cold.
Yep. And just listening to Werner Herzog say all these Star Wars words is just a trip.
It is. He said Cam to know a different way than Greef Karga does. Greef Karga calls it a Camptono, and he calls it a Camptona. Camptono. It's something like that. It's just a different pronunciation. And I want to say that Greef Karga is doing it right.
The best scar belongs back in the hands of a Mandalorian.
Mandalorians always win all the races because they have the best cars. That's stupid.
He offers Beskar as a down payment, like as we said earlier, to deliver the asset alive, or proof of termination is acceptable for a lower fee.
Person's like, no. I need that blood, that high ass M count.
And so he goes back out. There's some little. So I've just found out what these things are called. Little Salacious B. Crumb guys.
The monkey lizard, right?
Kowakian monkey lizard.
Yeah, Kowakian. I forgot.
There's one in a cage, and there's one being roasted on a spit. And I guess these puppets were hand built by, or the puppet. The other one's not a puppet. I mean, I guess technically it's got something up its ass, but
is that how we define puppet?
Yeah,
because I got an uncle, man, that he would have fucking loved to be classified as a puppet if that's the case.
But they were designed and built by Tony McVeigh, who is the original designer and fabricator of Salacious B. Crumb back in the day.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. And in an otherwise CG world, it makes me sad though, because these are fucking mostly sentient creatures.
Oh, I read a thing. I guess so. The child, who we are introduced to later, Grogu, but that's not until much later. The child is mostly practical, as we know. Obviously, there's parts where he's running around.
Is this the Werner Herzog?
Yeah. So they were shooting it with the puppet, and they were shooting it without the puppet.
Yeah.
And Werner Herzog found out they were doing that just in case the puppet didn't work right or didn't look good. And he basically called them fucking cowards. I think I have the quote here.
You are a bunch of fucking cowards.
Yeah, he said, "You're cowards, leave it." And he said that the scenes with the puppet are heartbreakingly beautiful.
Oh,
which is just how he talks. Like that's just you could bring out like a really nice plate of like steak and potatoes that's plated really well, and he's like, "This is heartbreakingly beautiful.
Yeah,
It sings to the chords of the universe."
It is tugging on my heartstrings as we speak. I am a changed man forever.
And another little fun thing here, which I think would have made more sense, but I get Disney's gripe, I guess. The monkey lizard that's in the cage watching a member of its species being roasted on a spit was originally supposed to be laughing because they don't give a shit. And they changed it to sad noises because it was determined that was too sad.
Yeah, it's just evil.
But that's
It's
what
evil.
they are. Look at Salacious B. Crumb.
He's laughing at other people's pain, not his own people's.
Maybe he didn't like that guy. He's like, fuck Roger.
I fucked your wife.
So Mando goes and meets up with the armorer,
Ooh,
who is played by an actress
Emily Swallow.
named Emily Swallow.
Yeah. Oh, dude. No, I'm in love with Emily Swallow
And I looked her up.
because of this.
One, she's gorgeous.
Yes.
And it's kind of disappointing. We'll get to the taking the helmet off of Pedro Pascal later episodes or later seasons. I think he does it once in this, maybe.
Yes.
I'm kind of disappointed she doesn't take her helmet off because she's gorgeous. But I guess she was
We
on
ain't done yet.
Supernatural. She's on a whole bunch of shit. So
We might see her face like when she dies, like, take my helmet off so I can see you with my own eyes. Tell your sister you were right. Start there.
But he gives her the Beskar to make him some shit, and then whatever's left over, he can
Pauldron.
contribute to the thing,
The foundlings.
the community pool of
Covenant.
Beskar. There you go.
The fucking community pool of Beskar, dude.
It's a
It's hard to
tithing.
swim.
Quick, dry off fast, or you're going to be frozen like that.
Dude, I love this Covenant, and she is fucking tremendous. The armor is going to be one of my favorite characters in this entire series. She is steadfast, and here's the thing: like, I don't want to get too deep. We're already running longer than we should, but we'll talk about the Covenant another time, how they're heretical and whatnot.
Yeah, she's kind of a badass. We see later, but he does get his pauldron. He goes off. By the way, I knew this first one was going to be a little longer because we're setting stuff up.
Yeah, we're talking about like the ins and outs. Okay, yeah.
Then he goes off to this rocky desert planet, which apparently is Arvala 7.
Okay.
Because I think it was this one because I was reading some stuff for the next episode, and there's there's some kind of thing where he sees Arabash writing, and it translates to Arvala 7.
Okay.
I think
Perfect.
that's here.
It would
And
have to be because he can't get off planet. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So he spots these blurgs, which is another reference to a forgotten Star Wars franchise or property, because the blurgs were introduced in Battle for Endor.
It's not forgotten to us. We got them on 4K.
And I guess this first shot of them through the scope was done in stop motion, like the originals.
Dope.
But obviously, most of it is CG because you got
Yeah.
people riding them and stuff.
But that's cool because you got that little green filter on. You might as well just use stop motion whenever you can.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want Mandalorian riding around on this thing looking like Denise Richards riding a T-Rex.
Yeah, that's all I thought of. That fucking awful part, amazing movie, and also awesome part.
And so the blurgs attack him. He takes one down, but it's got him pinned. The other one comes up, and then
He doesn't even take it down. Fucking Nick Nolte takes them both down.
Oh, I thought he got the first one.
No, he got darted.
Okay.
Yeah, because it had his arm when he's trying to flamethrower him. Then it switched arms, and like he might have been able to get away, but Nick Nolte darted the other one, and then the first one, and then the other one as he's coming up to him.
Yeah, so we meet Nick Nolte, who is playing Queel, well, voicing Queel.
That's not Nick Nolte.
The body is an actress named Misty Rosas.
Okay.
They did do this is Nick Nolte's face, so I'm assuming they did like a transposition. Like there's obviously a mask here, but it's one of those combinations of practical and CG, I think, because this looks like fucking Nick Nolte.
Or hold on, does Nick Nolte just look like a Nugnut?
I think Nick Nolte was around first.
I don't know, man.
He was
this
born
happened
before
This happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. What are the chances Nick Nolte is a fucking descendant of an Ugnaught?
Okay, that's possible. One of those Ugnaughts got into a space whale,
I
got
am
to our
smoking.
galaxy. Yeah, I am smoking. So yes, I'm gonna help you. I have spoken. And he basically tells him, he's like, a lot of people have come through here looking for what you're looking for. They all died. I helped them. Mando's like, I don't know if I need your help then.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm good.
But he's like, no, you do need my help. I've spoken. So you have to learn to ride this blurg. And it's just a little bit of mythology building. No pun intended, because he's like, your ancestors rode the great mythosaur. Surely you can ride this fucking blob.
Yeah, come on, dude. If you guys did that. So this is the part, like, as a nerd, people were texting me about, as a Star Wars nerd, people were texting me about this show all kinds, right? When it came out, people were like, hey, what's the timeline? How come I'm seeing fucking stormtroopers? Like, what is the deal? And I'm explaining all this shit. And it gave me a purpose in life, Derek. It gave me meaning. All of a sudden, it's all worth it.
It's so much better than people just texting you like, why is Darth Maul in Solo?
Yeah, this is so much better because I have answers for that, for this. But when he says mythosaur, I felt a little betrayed because I'm like, great, now everyone knows the fucking Mandalorian clan is a mythosaur. Like, that was always just the big, like, that's how I knew that you were expanded universe. You know, that's how I knew that you read a fucking book or a comic about it, because you knew the mythosaur.
Or
Now,
you saw the holiday special.
Now, that's a different level. I respect you more if you never read a Star Wars book, but you saw the holiday special and will admit to it. That's props.
I like, basically Nick Nolte's thing is like, look, I'm going to help you because I want you to get the whatever this is and get the fuck out of here, because people keep coming for it.
This is a place of peace, dude.
Yeah,
this is like
causing
Palm
destruction.
Springs. You're acting like it's Miami. Okay, you're trying to Miami up my Palm Springs. There's ninjas riding speeders around here, selling death sticks, and also singing songs, singing jizz music.
He's like, also one other thing, never met a Mandalorian. Thought that was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I read about you in a book. I don't want to. It's a minor fucking thing because we obviously get a whole action scene out of it. But why doesn't he just take his ship, hover over, and just start blasting?
I don't know. I guess maybe he doesn't want to fly in because he doesn't know what the situation is.
Or he doesn't know what the fucking bounty is.
Maybe
he wants to keep it alive.
Maybe his fob doesn't work as well in a ship.
I mean, you have to get close enough for it to work, because he had to figure out, they had to tell him the planet to go to. So it's not like it just I think it just points you left, right, and middle. Yeah,
well, I mean, it beeps faster when you get closer, but like if you just, it's on this planet. Okay, cool. So I'll start going north for 2 days. Well, it's beeping slower. Guess I better turn around and go south for 2 days.
Fuck, dude. I went 2 days out of the wrong way. He's below us.
So he's checking out this this camp. These guys, what are these? Niktos, yes. Okay. So he's checking it out. Oh, and you had mentioned in another one that you couldn't remember if that was the race or that particular character. The subtitles did say it here. It said Nikto screaming.
No, I think I knew that. We were talking about Weequay.
Oh, okay.
There are characters that go by Weequay, but the race is definitely Weequay or Weequay. I can never. You tell me how to pronounce it.
Now you tell me. You're the Star Wars guy.
Weequay.
But as he's watching it, he's like, "Oh fuck!" Because here comes IG-11, voiced by Taika Waititi.
Woo! This is great, dude, because we've always talked, like, especially in Legends, we've seen it. The IG units are fucking badass. Now we get to watch it.
Dude, this thing is crazy. It's just like it can turn its arms and head in all directions and just blast dudes like fucking cowboy style. Cowboys can't turn their arms and all, but you know what I mean.
This is cowboy style. What cowboys movies are you watching? My God, Clint Eastwood just fucking. No, it's cool as shit, man. I mean, it's exactly what I want from a bounty hunting robot.
Yeah.
Except for he's a little quick to try and kill himself. Like we gotta talk to him about that. Make sure his mental health is okay. You're very really ready to quit. It's so.
Well, he's very quick about everything. He just walks in. He's like, "I have this thing. Give me the
produce the bounty.
Produce the bounty
asset.
right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, or not. Like, this is ours.
So then after he does that, then Mando comes out. He shoots Mando, luckily, in the only Beskar he has, which is his pauldron. Oh, his helmet might be Beskar. It's pretty shiny.
I think his other armor is Beskar
Durasteel.
because stuff bounces off of it.
It's not pure.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I mean. It's not
scene,
pure Beskar.
it could be a Beskar alloy, some sort of composite. But yeah, because that opening scene, the guy's like, oh, is that pure Beskar? And drags his knife across it, and you can see it chipping. So maybe it's really, really
because he
thin.
does lasers blasts hit him at other points and bounce off other parts, and it's not.
Okay.
He doesn't die like a stormtrooper.
I didn't see another one. Yeah, it could be Durasteel, which is Vader's suit.
Okay, that could be. I don't know. I just assumed it was like an alloy of Beskar.
But anyway, shoots him, and then he's like, "Hey, I thought I was the only one on this job." He's like, "Me too." All right, cool. Let's split the bounty. Okay, but I get the fame for it.
Yeah. He's like, we'll talk about this later when we're not being shot at. He's like, nope, need an answer now.
I can't physically take a step forward until you tell me that I'm gonna get the fame. I'm not gonna tell me I'm getting the fame or I'm walking.
And they get pinned down, and IG-11 is immediately like, well, see you later. Boop, 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 boop.
Whoa, what do you mean self-destruct? He's like, well, I can't get captured. Put that away. We're going to shoot our way out. And it doesn't work out. And he's like, all right, well, now it's time to kill myself. No, stop. Let me try one more thing. Tries to open the door. He's like, no, can't do it. All right, time to self-destruct. Knock that off.
Yeah, that literally his last one is like, will you stop?
Stop it. Put the bomb away.
Pulls out his little spray bottle. And, no.
What? Why would you spray me with that? Because you're being a bad IG.
And the whole time the chest cavity is open with the detonator in there.
Yeah.
Like he's not uninitiating it. He's just not hitting the button to do it.
Which, by the way, we see this go off at the end of this season, and it's a decent bada boom.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna take some of these guys with him. When they did it at that door, he would have taken Baby Yoda with him. So
yeah.
But these guys, there's a lot of good moments of levity that are like the action movie funny, because they're like, okay, we're gonna shoot our way out. They pop out, and these guys are rolling up with this big mounted gun, and he's like, oh fuck.
No, we're not.
Okay.
It is a perfect fucking Western. You got people falling off the fucking top of the thing there. You got somebody rolling in with a Gatling gun. Like, it's good. The only thing he needs to do is drag around a fucking coffin full of guns.
His idea here is he goes, takes the mounted gun, clears the field of all these dudes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There was a perfect point, and I know they're not doing it anymore. There was a perfect point for a Wilhelm scream. There's a few of them. But when IG's going in, and Mando tells him, like, above you, and he doesn't even look up. He just shoots straight up.
Oh!
And the guy falls down. It would have been I was like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, I could feel it missing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. If you're listening right now and you don't, and you enjoy that the Wilhelm scream is either changed or retired, let me know. If you are listening and you miss it, let me know, because I miss it.
So and then another laugh out loud moment. It's like, okay, now we just got to figure out how to open this door. And they stare at the door for a second, and they both turn and look at the gun.
It's good.
So they get in here. They find the child, and he's like, what the fuck? I thought he was supposed to be 50, because obviously Mandalorian doesn't know who Yoda is, or that he's
species age
old.
at different lengths or different speeds.
And he's like, perhaps it can live many centuries. Sadly, we'll never know. Click, and pulls a gun.
And that's when we talked about it, but he's like, no, I have a kill order, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to take that baby in. And Mando, I love this shot because it's Mando's entire face, and you just see his visor light up with a fucking blaster shot. And obviously they want you to think it's IG killing Grogu, but then IG just falls with a fucking shot in the head. It's a good chance at misdirection. May not have taken.
I mean, it's that classic, like we just did on Bad Movies, Worst People. the Punisher when they're
Oh yeah.
the 1989 one when they're rolling around on the ground together and the gun goes off and it's like who got shot? Like
Somebody
who
got shot.
but
Somebody got shot. Yeah. I guarantee you that Punisher walks away from this or limps.
but yeah, so he shoots IG and then he looks at the child and he reaches out with his finger like what's that painting? Creation of Adam.
Oh yeah, the
God and Adam.
Creation of Man. I think it's
Something
just
like
on the
that.
Sistine Chapel. I think it's just Creation of Man. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Where they're like doing the finger touch thing.
You know what it is? You're fucking way off, dude. Way more artistic. It's Shaquille O'Neal and Steel touching fingers with his partner Sparky, dude.
Or it's ET.
No, I said what I said. Steel.
Now we get ET at the beginning of the next episode when Mando's trying to heal himself and Grogu comes up and is like, ouch.
Ouch. Pieces. And then he gets into the spotchka.
So that's the end of Mandalorian, Chapter 1, The Mandalorian.
So I kind of want to do something different for this episode instead of like recommendations. Do you have any remembrance of your thoughts when this came out? Because we had been, what did we have before this on a Disney Star Wars show? Live action? Nothing, right?
Nothing. This was the first live action Star Wars show,
Okay.
I believe.
And as I alluded to, we were in a dark spot.
Yeah, so it was coming out. I remember hearing about it. I think I started this earlier and then we got sidetracked. What?
Us?
I remember hearing about it and I was like, okay, cool. Oh yeah, because I said this is the closest we're gonna get to like a Boba Fett show or something. I'll take it. I was like, but Disney Plus original, it's probably gonna suck.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're doing? Da da da. Like, because the last thing we had seen was Rise of Skywalker, and Disney historically does not like to learn from their mistakes.
Nope. Plus, I think at this point we did have some bad Marvel streaming too, right?
You might not have liked it.
Maybe.
I think the only one I can think of is WandaVision, and I liked it.
Ugh. Like I said, bad Marvel streaming.
It's a great show. It's one of the better Marvel streaming shows.
All right. I'll allow it. I don't agree with it.
But yeah, so we sat down and watched it. I don't know if I got to watch it the day it came out. I can't remember if that was the first season. I had to wait like 2 weeks or something. But I sat down and watched it, and I remember as soon as it ended, I was like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This
Okay.
is what we're doing. And I did get the feeling right out of the gate, which continues on throughout this season, especially, of like, am I just watching like a really cool video game I'm never going to get to play? Because like he goes, he gets the first bounty, he gets rewarded with Beskar, he takes it to the armorer, he gets a pauldron. He goes to the next bounty.
Side quest.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Side
like,
quest. Side quest. And I love it. That's not a complaint.
No, I think it worked as a good format, and I can understand why over the full series they kind of moved into telling a bigger story, because they're like, oh, if we're gonna do this whole series, we can't just have it all be like battle of the week or bounty of the week. Like,
Yeah.
we have to give you some kind of story, otherwise it's gonna get old.
They have to give you an end game.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
I remember being very impressed like the very first day I saw this.
As I said earlier, this was a low point for Star Wars. Like, especially me being the guy that I try to enjoy whatever Star Wars I'm getting at whatever time I'm getting it. It was rough. Rise of Skywalker broke me a little. When this came out, I had so many people I knew that were like, I'm done. Like, I don't care. I'm done with Star Wars. There's nothing they can do to bring me back. And then this came out, and 99% of those people came right back into the fold. And it helped me, like it reinvigorated my fucking love for it. So yeah, dude, it was kind of what we needed. I heard one complaint about this where someone said it feels like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are just playing with their Star Wars toys and hit record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? We've used that as a complaint on about the Transformers movies, but that's because that's just a kid playing with his toys going, bah, bah, bah. This is like some super nerdy little kid that's like, hello, I am. It's fucking Dark Helmet.
Yeah. How long were you standing there? Not long enough to see you play with your Boba Fett doll, sir. So yeah, to me, this is a big savior of Star Wars. I know they still don't have a lot of people's faith back, and streaming shows after this lost some of that faith, but like season 1 and 2 of Mando man, if you didn't enjoy this, let us know why. And I'd love to have a civilized discussion of why this didn't work for you.
Well, and I can't remember the timeline of like life because of who I am, but I feel like this was kind of at the height of streaming shows where it was like when HBO was like put out a new show back in the day, and it was like, what's the new HBO show? So it's going to be fucking amazing. And this was the point where it was like most of these streaming services were putting stuff out, and it was like, well, it's probably going to be great because all the other ones have been great. I mean, maybe not all of them, but you know what I mean? It's pretty close to like, this has been a lot of good shit. And then we started getting a lot of bad shit. So
yeah. Saturation. Disney wanted to win the so-called streaming wars. They've talked about it. We talked about it with Obi-Wan series. That was supposed to be a movie. This was supposed to be a trilogy of movies. And the guy that wrote it that way. And Disney was like, no, we're not doing any movies right now. We need to win the streaming battle. And they haven't.
Yeah,
they gave us a bunch of content.
It kind of goes to something I just read that James Gunn had said about, because he's running DC now, DC movies.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. We already have tickets.
Yeah.
Right? So, but he had made a comment about how it's not necessarily the creative people at Marvel's fault that Marvel has lost its way as much, because Disney did this like thing where it was like, we're not going to make as many movies, make everything for TV, and put out as many TV shows as you can. So they just started cranking out TV shows, and they weren't all good.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, we need to fill this streaming service, so let's do it right now.
I never blame the creatives for that.
Yeah.
This is slightly on topic, so that's good for us. The reason Andor worked so much is because Disney actually got out of the way. Tony Gilroy had a very specific story to tell, and Disney, for whatever God sent reason, didn't get in his way. They didn't force cameos. They didn't force placement of products, actors, or IPs. They just let Tony Gilroy tell a story, and it worked so fucking well for that reason.
And I think that's part of why this works too, because I feel like that's what they were doing here. The thing is, you have Dave Filoni as the guy running it, so he is a Star Wars guy.
Yeah,
like he's been running shows, so he's got the cameos. He does that stuff because he's doing things like what I pointed out, like, oh, it's the blurg, oh, he shot that thing like in the cartoon from the holiday special. Whatever.
And I think it's why season 3 became such a stinker, is because they got Kathleen Kennedy just came in and was like, here's what I think you have to do.
Well, and I think when this started, it was like, we're going to do this and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, do whatever you want. So they did whatever they wanted, and then it was a huge success. And so they got to keep doing what they wanted to do to an extent. But then at a certain point, Disney's like, okay, well, now we have to start connecting this to the big stuff. And we know we have to connect it to that show and that show. And they started doing their MCU thing. Now we have to connect all the threads of everything, and I know that Dave Filoni is the one behind the scenes doing that stuff. But maybe, I mean, I've enjoyed most of the content we've gotten in one way or another.
Right.
But like when it was just a standalone, like, here's a story about this guy. It's not tied to.
Here's a story of a Mandalorian. He was bounty hunt like no everybody else.
But it's like, it's not tied to the bigger universe so much, except for that it takes place in it. So you can just do whatever you want.
The big downfall of this series, and we'll talk about it in much more depth in season 3, they had a specific plan, and Kathleen Kennedy came out and said no because of merchandise, not because of bigger connectivity. She was like, you're not going to have a fucking season of Mandalorian without Grogu. You're not doing it.
That's dumb.
And that's why when we watch that season 3, it's like, he's there, but you could easily take him out of the scene and it doesn't matter. And that shouldn't be the case. He should be a focus. Give him a reason to be there. Write that fucking story of him there, or get him out, because we already bought the Grogu toy. He's somewhere over here. Oh, did he fall down? Oh, Grogu's down. He's off being mischievous.
He's eating all your fish eggs.
I hope no one's missing a frog.
But like, yeah, it's stupid, because like, if you really need Grogu, so the people you're selling the toys to, besides Jack, are mostly kids. So go do your little fucking Grogu animated series like they did the Groot animated series.
Right.
Who gives a shit? Keep your Grogu content, but when they send him off to go with a CG Luke, that should be the end of it. And
because that story didn't wrap up. It was like, hey, come with me. All right, get out of my face.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
We're
Kathleen
gonna
Kennedy, she's got the good and the bad, you know.
She made a lot of movies in our childhood, but
yeah,
she
she produced my life.
She's also a product. That's why it sucks. But no, she's.
Well, that's why all my friends have been replaced with people of color, and I'm just kidding, guys.
I think she's a product of the Disney machine. It just happens. You have to worship that almighty dollar, and that's the bottom line is your bottom line. There is no. She's not a creative anymore, man.
Bob Iger shows up and he's like, "Listen, bitch, we're making this fucking."
Bob Iger is now Mickey Mouse. You better sell me some Grogu puppets. Oh, I'll put my hand up its ass. Is that what it takes to be a puppet? Oh, Goofy's a puppet in that case. I had my hand up his ass last night.
Oh, that was just an actor playing Goofy at the park.
Oh, I felt Goofy.
But yeah, we've gone along on this one, so we'll wrap this one up. But we are going to be releasing the Mandalorian episodes week to week instead of doing 2 at a time, because I realized at a certain point I was like, well, that's weird. Why am I doing that? We're doing 2 episodes, but we're releasing every other week.
I'm not as smart.
The every other week was just the schedule, so I was like, let's do that. Yeah. So I'm not promising anything, but I am saying they will probably be shorter.
I'll do my bestest. No guarantees.
Yeah. Whitney is in the background listening, and she said, "This is not the podcast you're looking for." When I said I'll make them shorter.
But it is the podcast you're looking for.
When I said I would make them shorter, though. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week to talk about Chapter 2, The Child. Until then, I've been Derek.
I'm Jack. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
I have spoken.
Ooh, I am stroking.
I am stroking.
Gong, 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 gong.